It's a difficult one, isn't it? Because of the depth we have and the quality we have. I mean, it's a good conversation and a good problem to have, but you just don't know who he's going to pick. And I think Davies has surprised us a couple of times, hasn't he? He's actually picked a stronger squad than we think he's going to.
So welcome back to BCFC Royal Blue. Next up for Blues are Port Vale at home in the second round of the Carabao Cup. This is on the back of our first round victory against Sheffield United at St.Andrews at KnightheadPark. In this podcast, myself and Matt are going to preview the game, give you a bit of information about Port Vale, and do our best to give our thoughts on the possible starting lineup for Birmingham City. So another home time out. You can't complain. The atmosphere in the first round was great, so I don't see this being any different.
Yeah, I'm happy with this tie, Dad. I think the Cup for me is all about playing different teams. A lot of teams will hope to get one of the big boys in the Premier League, your United, your Liverpools, your Cities and stuff. But I think it's still just as fun playing teams who are in different leagues that you don't get to play every year. I think that's just as fun as well. And, the magic of the Cup, there's teams out there that go on these mad runs and do hit one of the big boys in the Premier League. But ultimately for me, Dad, I'm looking forward to playing Port Vale. I mean, quick question, when was the last time we played them competitively in a league game?
In a league game?
In a league game competitively. When do you reckon it was?
I'd be probably thinking about going back to our previous time in what was the third
So Trevor Francis was our manager. It was January 2000 and we lost 3-1 in front of 7,702 people.
At Port Vale. That's interesting. Yeah, I mean...
we won the first game at St. Andrews. I can't remember what the score was, but they beat us at their place. But the last time we played Port Vale competitively, Dad, in the league was January 2000.
That's an interesting stat.
25 years ago.
Yeah, I mean, we played them in pre-season this year. Actually, we can't really sort of put too much stock on that. But they're a League One team now, as we know. They got promoted from League Two last season. And they haven't made a great start to the League One campaign. Darren Moore is their manager. We know about Darren Moore. He used to be manager of Sheffield Wednesday. And
sorry, Dad, to jump in, but whenever I think of Darren Moore, I think of them going 4-0 when he was the manager of Sheffield Wednesday. It just immediately throws me back to 4-0 defeat at Peterborough and a 5-1 win at Hillsborough with the penalty shootout that they won. I mean, that's got to be one of the biggest comebacks.
I think it probably is. I think that's why I think people at Sheffield Wednesday will always remember and respect him for that.
Imagine being a Peterborough fan, go into Hillsborough 4-0 up, and you come back on that coach not making the final.
Oh, my word, that would be awful, wouldn't it? But like I say, they haven't made a great start. No. Now we know. I don't know what team that Darren Moore's going to pick, obviously, but
I think full strength.
I think this is what I was going to say. Yeah. I think this would be a bigger game for them than it will be for us in terms of we'll want to win this and we'll want to progress. Of course we will. But for them, they're coming to a championship team, big stadium. For this round, it will be a big crowd as well. Yeah. So I think they'll want to do that. And then they'll be well supported as well because they're not. Port Vale's not that far away, is it? It's up in
Stoke.
It's
Stoke and Port Vale are rivals, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. Yeah, so it's up in that Staffordshire, isn't it?
An average travel for there, like somewhere between an hour and a half. It's roughly, not far, is it?
Roughly. Yeah. So I think they'll be well supported. I think a lot of their fans will want to come to St Andrews and get the experience and stuff like that. But as I say, they haven't started well. They've played 5 games in League One this season. They haven't won yet. They've drawn 2 and lost 3. Yeah. I did watch, believe it or not, I actually watched the game against Cardiff when they played Cardiff. It was an awful game.
Really?
And it was 0-0, and Port Vale should have won that, really. But of course, look at the league table. We're now in League One. Cardiff have won every game since then. Yeah. So you can't really sort of play too much stock in that. But, just their results so far this season have not been great. They lost 2-1 at Rotherham, drew 0-0 with Cardiff, drew 0-0 with Burton at Burton, and they've lost the last 2 at home, 2-1 to Stevenage, and then this weekend they lost 1-0 to Doncaster. I think it could be a tough season for them. So for me, if you take their league form into consideration, they're not going to be the most. It's not great coming to a game like this.
Yeah, but you can't take the league form when it comes to a cup game. All strange things happen during cup games, don't they, Dad? But I mean, you have to take it as a marker. We have to start somewhere when we do our research on teams. So, you have to look at the league and where they are and who they're playing. Of course you do. But my point in saying that is the magic of the cup is that on any day, strange things happen, don't they, on any cup evening. So what I will say there, just to compare where they are with the teams that came up with them as well, because I think this is a good comparison. So they came up with Bradford, Doncaster, AFC Wimbledon and Port Vale. Bradford are in 4th. I mean, we all went. Bradford are a good team, They're going to do well this season. They kind of remind me of Stockport when they came up.
Yeah.
Doncaster in 8th and AFC Wimbledon in 10th.
Yeah.
So the other 3 teams are in the top half of the table, and Port Vale are in 22nd. And I'm not saying that if there's a Port Vale fan tuning in to be spiteful, but I'm just showing where they are in comparison to the other teams that came up as well. So they haven't got off to the greatest start. It's hard to tell 5 games in. It's a long old season, isn't it? But I saw the post, the final score post when they lost to Doncaster. Again, you know me now, I do my research, I look at what other fans are saying, and apparently they're just really struggling for goals. They need a goal scorer.
Well, what's really interesting on that point, when I first researched these, it was a few days ago. We always look at stats of the opposition. I looked at their and a player I was going to highlight was Lawrence Talaj, who was their top scorer last season. He got 15 goals last season. And then subsequently, on Saturday before the game, noticed that he'd been sold to Plymouth.
Right.
So they sold their top scorer from last season to Plymouth. I got no idea why. So that's when you talk about needing goals, the last thing you do is sell your top scorer. So there must be a financial thing in there.
And they've got another goal scorer called Jaden Stockley, and he's injured. So at the minute, they've got a forward called Ben Wayne, I believe, who's playing up top.
Yeah, they bought him from Plymouth.
Yeah, and a lot of the fans are going, we are just crying out for a goal scorer. Of course, Dad, in every fan base, you get the fans that take it to the extreme, and you get the fans which are quite logical and talk about it within reason. And the reasonable Port Vale fans are going, okay, the core structure's there, the football is okay, we need to improve, we're not great, but we're crying out for a goal scorer. And then the other side of the fan base are going, League Two is imminent, and we're rubbish and all this sort of stuff. So you got to take everything you hear with a pinch of salt on social media, haven't you? But I think the biggest thing for Port Vale, from what I'm gathering on social, is their goals. They're not scoring goals, they're struggling big time. But the window's still open. I don't know what their financial situation is, but there is time to get someone in if they need it, and whether it be a loan or whether it be someone who can get them some goals. But I think that's a big thing for Port Vale so far this season.
I think financially, clearly they're not in a strong position financially because they have bought some players in, but every one of them's on a free transfer. So they bought in a few players. They bought in a right back from Blackpool, Jordan Galbraith. Again, these are all frees. Cameron Humphreys, a centre back from Rotherham. Liam Gordon, a left back from Warsaw. There's a few from the under 21s. Ben Wayne bought him from Plymouth.
He was up top against Doncaster, I think.
Yeah. So they've clearly they're in a different type of
market,
different type of market, but they do need to bring in some strength. They've only scored 2 goals all season. One of them was that Laurent Talaj, who's now gone. So they've only got one player in the team, Connor Hall, a centre back, who's scored a goal.
Right.
In the last game though against Doncaster, because this weekend they lost 1-0 at home to Doncaster. He played a 3-5-2. They were the home team, but what I've noticed is that Darren Moore does change the formation. I'll be put my money on the fact that against us he will play a 5-3-2,
or if it's a 3-5-2. In the defensive shape, it will mould into 5 at the back.
So, no, but I think this will be a 5-3-2.
Do you think it'll actually start with 5?
I think this will be a solid 5-3-2. This will against us, and they've got to Mo Fal up front, who I think they got from Wrexham. Was he at Wrexham last season? Mo Fal and Ben Wayne up front, and then they got a 3 midfield. So they played a 3-5-2. And clearly Doncaster came up with them last season, as you mentioned, and they've made a much better start. But I'm pretty sure that will be the formation that Darren Moore will go for. He has played a 5-3-2 once, 3-5-2 3 times, and a 3-4-3 as well. So what Darren Moore does, it appears that he will change his formation. But he ain't going to come to St Andrews with that team with the lack of goals and be attacking, I don't think.
Every single formation you've just listed tailors itself towards wing backs, doesn't it? So in terms of, so it might say 3 at the back, but when you do play 3 and then the wing backs which transition in from the midfield and the defence, if you're hitting a tough game or you've got a team which is really coming at you, it just allows you to absorb in the 5, don't it? So we saw this endlessly last year in League One. A lot of teams played 3 at the back or 4 at the back, but actually when in the defensive side of the game, it was like 2 blocks of 4. 8 people. It was really, really difficult to break down when teams do that low block. And I think Port Vale are notorious for being direct, aggressive, physical. This is going to be a bit of a battling game, I think, Dad. So when we go through the Blues team, I think we're going to have to be wary of. We're going to need some battlers and fighters in there because I think this is going to be quite a physical game. It's going to be some big challenges going in, and coming back to your original point, Dad, what have Port Vale got to lose? In my opinion, this is a free hit for them. They're not expected to win this game. If I was Darren Moore, I'd be going full strength. Why not?
Yeah, I would as well. But then, from his point of view, he'll know his resources in his team, and he'll know whether he's going to risk anybody, because you don't want to lose what he sees as his key players for the league.
Yeah, maybe
for the league. So I agree. So I think he's going to have that thought process as well. It's all right saying, let's put our first team in and fine. Let's put a good show, and then get 2 or 3 bad injuries, and then you're weakened in the league, aren't you? So be interesting to see what he does. But
I think maybe that comment, Dad, came from a privileged position of having good squad depth for Blues. You forget, and I promise I don't mean this arrogantly, other clubs aren't in the position we're in. They don't have the resources and the depth that we do. So I think from a Blues perspective, we can play a weakened team, because if our players, if you look at the bench that we had against Oxford at the weekend, the depth we have at Blues now is crazy. So I think we will see a rotated Blues team for sure. But I think, just going back to my original point, it's fair to say that you don't know what the resources and what dates in Darren Moore's head do.
Yeah. So we see what he plays. But just very quickly on their style of play, they attempt crosses often. You said direct. That suggests that'll be. They like attacking through the middle, and they do take a lot of shots. They also like to try and control the game in the opposition's half, but that's not going to happen in this game. They're an aggressive team, and they like to try and play aggressively against the opponents as well. So I'll presume that'll be them trying to press. But they're playing us, and that is going to be a different type of opposition they played for a long, long time. So I think they might find it difficult to play their usual style or type of game. And anyway, you might try something different, because clearly what they've done so far this season hasn't worked. So he might use it as an experiment as well. So do you want to go on to the Blues team? What you think there will be?
I've literally just got 3 players from research. So Ryan Crosdale, he's their recent player of the season. He's like their defensive midfielder.
Yeah.
And he's also a goal threat as well. Ben Garrity, he's their captain, and he's sort of what gets them from the transition often when they're transitioning from defence to attack. And Jordan Shipley as well, he's the person who creates the most amount of Port Vale chances for them.
Did you say he was injured though?
Who?
Jordan
no, that was
Shipley.
Jaden Stockley.
Oh, okay.
So he's one of their aerial presence kind of strikers who's out injured as well. So
okay.
they're the ones who have popped up for me as possible ones, I guess, to watch. But leads us in nicely to the Blues, Dad.
Yeah, and it's another team selection that Chris Davies, we undoubtedly will rotate. And I think, as I mentioned at the beginning, against Sheffield United, we thought there'd be a completely changed team, but the 1 or 2 players, I think we have still 3 first, team who have started the previous game. So I've gone along those lines with my starting lineup as well.
Go for it, Dave. You start with goalkeeper and defence then.
So I've got for Beadle in goal. I've gone for Samstead at left back, and now I'm saying that, but he's not featured at all for us this season, and obviously I think that he's probably earmarked for probably Sale, I would guess. I don't know. There's nothing that makes me say that, by the way, so don't read anything into that. But the fact that we haven't seen him at all suggests to me that he's probably muted to go. But I have put him in at left back because we obviously know that Cochrane is struggling at the moment. Laird played there, but I put Laird in at right back actually. He's one of the players I've kept in. So I've gone for Cashin and Clara. So my back line will be Beadle in goal, Laird on the right, Clara and Cashin as centre halves, and Samstead on the left. But I know that Samstead selection is very up in the air.
Yeah, so I've gone for Beadle in goal, same as you. I've gone for Laird left back. I've gone for Cashin left side of centre back. Clara right side of centre back, and I've gone for Taylor Garden-Hitman at right back.
Yeah, is he my midfielder?
Yeah.
That's why I've not put him there.
I've gone Taylor Garden-Hitman for right back. I think because we have a lack of depth in the Iwata type of centre midfielder, the break-up play kind of player, I think Iwata will play in the centre mid alongside Mark Leonard. I think Keshi Anderson will be on the left, Doyle in the 10, Fujimoto on the right, playing into Kyogo.
Virtually the same as me. That's amazing. Yeah, I've gone for Iwata because I think last day against Sheffield United, Iwata was on the bench, wasn't he? Played Pike.
No, he played Iwata, I think.
Oh, was he?
I think it was Iwata.
Oh, okay. I thought he was the other way around, but I've gone for Iwata in this game with Leonard in the middle. I've gone for Taylor Garden-Hitman on the left.
Okay.
Doyle in the number 10, Fujimoto on the right, and feeding into Kyogo.
Yeah, I think Kyogo needs a couple more goals to get his confidence, doesn't he? So I think he'll keep playing him for the game time, for the fitness, for the getting used to the way we play, and I think the goals will come for Kyogo. So I think he's definitely going to be the man to start a lot of games coming up. But for me, I've gone for a little bit of a mix. I think I've kept a couple of core players in there. You look at Clara, look at Iwata. just to have that core strength and leadership and consistency, you have to have some sort of consistency no matter who you're playing. You can't just swap all 11 out. So I think Clara and Iwata is a good spine to the team to keep consistent. And then, mixed it up, I guess, a little bit with Fujimoto. And bringing back in Keshi Anderson as well on the left. Because we saw Keshi Anderson come on against Oxford. Yeah. And I think these are going to be quite physical. And Keshi gives you that little bit of stature, doesn't he? Especially on the wing. So
I'll tell you something else we could factor into this as well if he's ready. Kumas as well.
Yeah.
Because he's just joined.
And the Duck. And the Duck.
Yeah, well, I think the Duck, we might either see him starting for a half or he might be on the bench.
I think there's 3 players we'll see at some point for sure. Dykes, the Duck, and Lewis Kumas as well.
Yeah, I wonder if, maybe...
to be honest, I forgot about Kumas.
Yeah, but it might be a couple of days early for him. I don't know, because he would have only had a training session with the club. But
I wonder why Fujimoto's not getting any game time.
I'm guessing that they're monitoring his fitness because he was coming back, coming to us with a niggly injury. Yeah, so what they want to do is push him too hard too quickly because he could end up going out longer.
I think with Kumas playing 40+ odd games for Stoke last season, actually, now we're talking it through as we always do on the podcast. It could be Kumas on the right, Fujimoto on the bench, and then there's a couple of players that come on in the second half. There, it's a difficult one, isn't it? Because of the depth we have and the quality we have. I mean, it's a good conversation and a good problem to have, but you just don't know who he's going to pick. And I think Davies has surprised us a couple of times, hasn't he? He's actually picked a stronger squad than we think he's going to. But I think because Leicester's so close behind the Tuesday game, he's going to be a bit more wary this time.
That's going to be the factor, isn't it? You know, I mean, Leicester literally is. We're not even playing on the Saturday; it's the day before, so there's a less break between this game and that game, and I think that's going to be at the forefront. Well, so very similar type of teams, but again, just showing us the options that we that have. I know the one that will raise the eyebrows for Blues fans in my selection is Samstead, but I've only put him in there on the basis that if you are going to put him in a game, this will be the one. I think, unless he's earmarked to go, which I think it could be the case.
I think he is. Knowing no confirmation or conversation with anyone about that, I just think he hasn't even been featured on the bench, has he, in the last couple of games?
So, no, he's been nowhere to be seen, which suggests that he's basically they're probably trying to.
Because I agree with you that I've put Laird left back, but if Samstead was in the picture and playing regularly or coming off from the bench or showed any involvement in the squad, I'd be tempted to put Samstead in, but I've just gone all out for Laird, to be honest, and Taylor Gardner hit him right back, but. Because I think Asori Samuel will have a break, Neumann will have a break, Stansfield will have a break, Paik might have a break. I think some of the big hitters will get some rest time against Port Vale, but I think, I mean, it is crazy, isn't it, Dad? We're talking the names I've just mentioned there, and we still have the quality we've mentioned in our starting lineup.
It is hard to sort of comprehend,
and we're getting more in before the window closes as
well,
so.
The window will be closing next week or the week after, but it's the 5th of September, I think, so we're not far away. But let's finish with a score prediction then. So do you want to go first this time?
Yeah, well, I think because of what we highlighted earlier, Port Vale are clearly struggling for goals. We're at St Andrews, even with Cashin and Clara at the back, as in by the way, Cashin, just by the nature of being player that's been coming off on the bench, that's all I mean by that. We're still going to be rock solid at the back. So I can't really see them scoring. So I'm going to go for a confident one here. It's going to be a cagey game in terms of they're definitely going to do a low block, but I've gone for Birmingham City 3, Port Vale 0.
Okay, well, I went for that score as well, so I'll go 4-0 then.
Okay.
Yeah, because I literally I've got just to be different, but I literally have got 3-0 down here because I went for that as well. And I think that's realistic because I think that they are literally going to just, if they can catch it on the break, if they possibly can, they're not going to come out. If they do that, it'd be suicide for them with this team. So I think that I have gone for 3-0, but just to be different, I will go 4-0. Okay. I could be cautious to go 2-0, but I think we will score more than 2 goals in this game. And for me, this will be the game where hopefully if Kyogo's playing, he'll get a few more. He scored against Sheffield United.
I'll tell you who I really want to get on the score sheet as well, Dad's Dimmy. Yeah, I really want Damari to get his first goal. So, I mean, I don't think he'll feature in this game. Just full disclosure, just because I think he's a key player for us this season. He'll be rested for the Leicester game, but that time will come. But I think we're going to have a good performance, and also as well, we have that momentum now. We have that mentality, which is just different around us. So, Yeah, looking forward to it. I always look forward to getting down to St Andrews. Obviously, me, you, and my sister will be there. So really looking forward to it. And yeah, come on, you Blues.
Yep, so that's it. That's what we think, Birmingham City supporters. So we'd always love to know what your comments are. So leave a comment below. And if you're a Port Vale fan and you've come across this podcast for the first time, we always welcome comments from the fans of the opposition teams as well, as long as they are respectful, no abusive language or aggressive behaviour. We welcome comments, so please leave them below the podcast as well. If you did enjoy this podcast, as always, don't forget to give us a thumbs up. And if you haven't checked us out on our social media channels already, pop along to our X page and our Instagram page. And if you like to watch or listen to your podcast on Spotify, you'll also find us on there as well. And you'll see the handles appearing on the screen for all of these channels right now. If you haven't subscribed to the channel and you'd like to, then the big red subscribe button is the place to do it. Hit that big red subscribe button. And if you hit the bell icon next to the subscribe button, you'll get notifications every time myself and Matt put out a new podcast. So that's it for this one. Hope you've enjoyed it. And myself and Matt will see you on the next one, all about Birmingham City.